Okay folks, that is the aircon all removed. Went out for a quick test drive and everything seems to be running a-okay. Have to say I haven't noticed a massive difference in how the car performs, be it weight or driving the belt or anything like that there, but certainly seems to be running well. Car's not overheating after bleeding out the system, so all seems good. I'll only really probably notice the difference, if anything, out on track, but car's working, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, certainly worth doing if you're stuck or you need to fix anything. Hopefully that guide maybe gives you an idea what all is involved with removing the aircon. And I'm glad to say both fans kick on. The aircon fan, I've left it plugged in so it's still connected, so when the car does get warm both fans kick in. So I decided to leave that fan on. Thought the extra fan for an extra bit of coolant should help. Obviously removing it might save a wee bit of weight that way, but I've left it in, as I said. So yeah, all seems to be working. Any queries or comments or anything like that, feel free to ask, and naturally please like, share and subscribe as well. Hi folks, my next little project on the track EP3 will be removing the aircon. The aircon stopped working due to the gas leaking out of it, probably from the condenser. So my next step's going to be to remove the AC. Obviously it's a track car, I don't need it working, and I might as well try and remove it out, save a bit of weight. Not will be massive weight savings, but every little helps. And of course theory suggests the shorter belt and running one less system on the pulley system should all help. Just as a note regarding the shorter belt, that is the part number there. You can see I've went for a Gates one, and if that hasn't come out too clearly on camera, that's a 7PK1283, and that's a shorter belt. Obviously you're going to be removing the aircon pump, so that's one pump out of the way, so there'll be less travel required for the belt. So I'm going to start removing this. It's due to rain anytime soon, so I'm going to start into just the top side of the engine, try and remove some of the easy stuff. So if it does rain, I can get in, move the camera in pretty quickly. But just as a quick overview, your aircon pipes are all these hard pipes here, run around the engine bay, down to the pump down at the bottom. They come out, they run along, and they come out the side there, up past the headlight and back round. Two pipes go into the dash just behind that airbox. As mentioned, the pump's down at the bottom. There's a dryer in below the battery tray, and that's the bulk of it pretty much that way. To get to the pump, I'll probably need to go in under the car. It's the very bottom there at the front of the engine. The dryer unit there probably means I'll get the battery tray and stuff like that out and should be able to get to it here. And of course at the end of this video I'll weigh it just to give people an idea of the weight savings involved. And also what I'll do is, there's a hole you'll see behind the airbox. I'm going to get the Honda OE grommet just to seal it off and make a nice neat job once I get all those pipes removed. So we'll see how that goes. Cheers. I now have my airbox removed. This is just behind where the airbox is. You can see the heat shield there for it. And these are the two aircon pipes going in on this UK spec car to the passenger side firewall. These are the two aircon pipes going into where roughly the glove box is. It seems to be there is one bolt right in the middle between the two pipes, and two nuts, one there and the other one just there. So my aim will be to try and remove these. You can see they look a little damp. I've sprayed them down with plus gas in the hope that I don't have any issues getting them off. They do look quite crusty. But yeah, the aim will be to crack these off, hopefully they come out without a problem, and start into removing these hard pipes. Okay, you should see that's things pretty loose there now. As I said, they were two M6 or 10mm nuts there. There's an M6 bolt down through the middle. That metal bracket, as you can see, is loose. There's a rubber grommet. You can see this unit is loose. There's a rubber grommet sort of holding it fairly tight, but if you give it a tug, you'll see it loosens up. I just now need to loosen the brackets that hold these hard pipes in place to give this enough play to pop it out. So we'll crack on with that now. Okay, you'll see I've made a good bit of progress now. I've broken the hard pipe at this connection now. You'll notice there's an O-ring there, so that will provide a bit of resistance for you whenever you do try to pull the connections apart. There's a wee P-clip style thing here that mounts onto this part of the strut tower. That's given me a bit more room to release this, and the connection in there, if I can see that, is now broken. I'm now going to measure that grommet up there to get the grommet ordered to seal it up from the weather elements and stuff. Further up in the thicker hard line, the low pressure line, there's a P-clip here which mounts onto that part of the firewall there. I'm going to break this line here, so that'll give me two pieces of line, so I should be able to remove this completely up out of the way. I've also removed that wee attachment bolt there. I think that was an M6 bolt there, and that leaving most pipes free. There's an M5 bolt from memory there. It could be an M6, but I think it's an M5 one there to remove as well. That should get most of the pipes free. Then I think what I might do is remove the battery here, get the battery tray out and go to the dryer, which is just below the battery. It's like a round metal cylinder. Unhook it and get it up out of the way, and I should be able to do that without having to lift the car up. And as I said, it is due to rain today for me, so I don't want to lift the car up into the air. I'm obviously outside now, I don't want to get caught in the rain. So yeah, I'll get cracking with that and move on from there. That's the first set of hard pipes removed. You'll see there the O-rings and the connection and the rubber grommet and the wee sort of faceplate there. And going up here you can see also the threaded connection there and the hard pipe that's been removed from. So we're making decent progress there. And just to show you, in at the connection where the aircon pipes go. So yeah, making decent progress. I'll get this measured now for the grommet and let you know the dimensions and or the part number on the video if somebody else wants to do this as well. Okay folks, you'll see I have the battery removed and I've left the battery tray in, but what you can actually see is you do get a reasonable amount of access into the dryer, which is just down there. Appreciate the lighting might not be a great help, but you can just see where that connection goes down into just there. That's the dryer, and you can see some of the hard pipes going into it. And right at the back there, on the top of them I should say, you can see the two nuts, and one of those is for the hard pipes there. You can just see running down the edge, so that should get one of the hard pipes out. And I might take out the bolt for the other one, not quite sure what direction it's going to, possibly to the other side of the car, but getting them removed should give me a bit of access, and I'll see if I can work out how that dryer's attached to the side of the car there. It might mean I don't have to remove anything else. But you also notice there's an electrical connector there on it too, so that'll obviously have to come out. So yeah, I'll update you shortly. Okay folks, just as I thought, that's the start of the rain coming on, but I have got this pipe that runs along here removed and disconnected, and you can see possibly down under the dryer the open hole there. You can see the other cable or the other hose is disconnected there as well, just two M6 bolts again. Next stage is to see if that dryer is removable. I did see there's a band clamp round the thing. I might try to remove that tomorrow or whenever it stops raining and see how it's connected, because if I can get this removed without having to lift up the car, etc., that'll save me a wee bit of time, but we'll see. Okay, the next bit of progress is the dryer, which has been removed. This is the unit that was sitting down in there. The two aircon pipe, hard pipe connections, and the electrical connection there at the top as well. That's very easily removed. That one screw just there where I'm pointing to sits at the top of that bracket like so. Unscrew that, pull it up, job done. I have also disconnected that hard pipe there into the radiator. The lower one I'm struggling to get to. I could probably wait to remove it when the radiator comes off. I've removed this bracket, the screw that holds that bracket in there. That was an M6 bolt. I think I might have said an M5 earlier in the video. Either way, that's been removed. What I will try to do is to see if I can get to the pipes that attach onto the pump. See if I could remove this hard pipe here and the pipe that runs sort of across the connection or the bottom of the engine there. I don't know whether that's going to be possible, but if not, it's not the end of the world. I might end up having to take the front end off the car to get to it or go in underneath, but hopefully with a few extensions I can get down in. We'll find out. Okay, I'll let you know. You'll see in this next clip here I have the front grille sort of slam panel-y area removed there from the car. Dead easy, just a few plastic popper clips that lift up. I left the ones down the middle there and literally just sort of popped it and wedged it up past, and out the two grills popped. So very easy that way. And you'll see I have also removed the M6 bolts that hold in the condenser support. They're just sitting there very loosely, same with that one there. The idea is I'll rock this forward a bit, try to get down to the screw that's way down there that I was struggling to get to, loosen it, pop off that hard pipe, lift out the condenser, and that makes that job that bit easier. Which means the only difficult one I'll have to get onto the car for will be the pump, which is way at the bottom there. But I never thought about doing that, but that makes life that bit easier. So I'll remove these brackets, see if I can move this about a wee bit and try and get to that screw down there as I said, and we'll see if that gets that section out. Okay, that's the condenser removed now, and the hard pipe that attached there onto the back side of it there, just down at the bottom, all removed. I suspect that's where the leak came from anyway. Seen a few wars, to put it politely, so that's good to be removed. And you can see around there the large hole now that we're left with, so we're doing well that way. All that is left, I think from memory, it's going to be this pipe going down to the pump, and there's a pipe I believe that runs across the engine bay as well, or beneath at the bottom of the engine bay. So these were the ones it said I might try to get to, if I can get a few extensions down that way. And what might be useful is using the radiator supports on loosening them, allowing the radiator to go back a wee bit just to give us a bit of room. That could be doable, but I'll see how I get on. I've got plenty of success, folks. Managed to get the two pipes screws and disconnected from the top of the pump. You see this pipe here is the one that runs up the side of the engine bay along the top. You'll recognise that big rubber pipe, and that runs over the strut tower and round that way, just to give you your rough sort of idea of where it sits. You'll see, to get them off, simple ratchet. with a few extensions together and a wobble joint or an elbow at the bottom. That managed to get the two bolts, nuts, these jollies off the aircon pump. Worked fine, just shone a torch down in, lined up the bolts and off they came, and just to get the bolts out so I didn't drop them, simple telescopic magnet tool, picked up the bolts. Next stage is probably to get to the pump, take the belt off and get to the pump. The second pipe that runs along the side of the engine bay and comes up there, it's actually attached roughly down there, just sort of beneath the throttle body and beneath the fans way at the bottom. It might be difficult to get to. I can see the bolt. I replaced it with a stainless one a few years ago, so I can see it, but I think I'll probably need to try to get to it from beneath the car, so that makes life a little more difficult, but I have to get under the car to do the pump anyway, so that might not be the end of the world. Okay, the next bit of progress was to get one screw out that holds the rubber part of the last sort of front main aircon pipe out. You can't really see it without being really close down in the camera, but basically it's directly below the throttle body, way down at the bottom. So what I did is, you can see the front ends off the car, loosen the radiator brackets up. That allowed me to push the radiator out and get my arm in to get at the screw. And I rebuilt the front end of this car a couple of years ago. Luckily they were all stainless bolts, so I'd been in there before, no seized bolts or anything that way, so we were easy to get out, just limited access, but we got there. But I do notice there's one more bolt holding one of the hard pipes on, way down below that sort of wiring down there. Should be able to get to it. It seems to be that bit easier. I'll get that off, and that should be the last pipe out. Obviously the condenser's out now. With taking off the front end, it just lifts out, and the next stage will probably be to get the belt off. I do have the diagram of how to set up the belt in terms of what pulleys it goes around in what direction, etc. I'll probably take a few photos of my phone and see how they come out and go from there. More success. This is the lower aircon pipe now removed. That there side goes to the aircon pump. I've sort of lost my orientation. I think it's something like that. That there is the first wee screw bracket. That's a bit of a pain in the backside to get out. And then that bracket's moved. It's meant to. I set this down to show you clearly. That bracket's moved a bit. It should be there. But slightly further down, you'll see there's two M6 in my case. Bolts holding those two brackets on, and that'll get it removed. Then a bit of wiggling, shuffling with the radiator gives you the space to wiggle it out. And of course, with the front bumper set out like I have, you can put your hand up, and if that end gets caught, which it did a couple of times, you can sort of push your hand up and loosen it and things like that there. So yeah, next stage for me is to look at the belt now and pop it off. Okay, next update is the grommet for the firewall. You should be able to see the part number there. If you can't, I'll put it into the description of the video. Speak it out here now. It's 91631 Sierra 5 Alpha 000, and that is the grommet installed in there. Nice and tidy, OE part, fits perfectly. The other thing I've done there, you'll see I have the belt loosened. You'll probably find when you go to try and put a socket and breaker bar onto the tensioner, you don't have much room. It ends up hitting off where the chassis leg is. So what I ended up doing is, with a 14mm and a 17mm spanner, doing a double spanner pretty much on it, which is, if I set it up like so, you can imagine that 14mm is on the nut, and you just get a 17mm spanner or a bigger spanner, hook it on, you go like so. So that gives you the leverage to basically lever the tensioner back to give you the slack to pop the belt off. So fairly straightforward that way. And just as a note, I was pulling it like that towards the front of the car, and you'll find the tensioner, it runs along sort of like a runner. It's the best way to describe it, and it moves forward towards the front of the car, giving you the slack, takes the tension off the belt as per the name suggests, and allows you to pop the belt off. So my next stage is to get the belt off all the crank, pulley, water pump, etc. down below it, go under the car, put the new belt onto the crank, and start to feed it all up through the rest of the pulleys as best I can from underneath. Once I'm happy that's done, I'll come up on top again and then get it onto the top pulleys, making sure it's on all the peaks and the teeth. Do the tensioner again, loosen it up, and put the belt on to the top there. We'll see how that goes. Okay, that is the belt now removed from the car. If it helps anybody, I found it easier pulling the belt down through the bottom. Once I had it unhooked off there, relieved the tension as you see in the previous clip. Off there, I could see the belt was loose. I pulled it out to the side and tried to get it off things like the alternator pulley down there, to make life as easy as possible, and had it sitting just in there, just sort of at the side of the pulley, so it was nearly off everything. It was getting caught on the aircon pump pulley way at the bottom and the crank, but you can get access through the underneath of the car. It's actually up on axle stands now. Put your hand up through the front lower control arm and you can see the crank sitting there. I was able to grab the belt and pull it. It did sort of get caught up on the aircon pump pulley, but I managed, with a bit of wiggling, it managed to come out. And just as a comparison there, you can see the two belts beside each other there. Obviously that's the new belt there, that wee bit shorter compared to the aircon pulley or aircon belt. So what I'm going to do is try and get this installed now, and I will aim to install it from the underneath. So I'll push it up through and see how that goes, and if it doesn't work I'll of course let you know. Hi folks, that is the belt on now. I have to say I did cheat and get another pair of hands to help me, more in terms of helping getting the tensioner and belt put on over the top pulley. I was pulling on the tensioner back, and it's easier just to get someone else to help put it onto the top pulley, but you can hopefully see the routing of it down there. Basically right at the bottom there is the crank pulley, and it squeezes up beneath the wee water hose there and the water pump, round over the tensioner. It goes round the alternator and up over the top pulley there. So it's actually quite an easy job to do. Just you need about 10 pairs of hands. It's just a wee bit fittery. It's on, so it all seems to be seated okay. Well, obviously we'll find out when we get the engine running. However, from looking down at the aircon pump, it seems to be that there isn't loads of room between the subframe and the chassis leg, etc., to get the pump out. So I think the radiator might end up having to come out, and the pump might end up having to go out through the front of the car. I'll have a quick Google maybe to find a few videos and see about people replacing the pump, to see how they've done it. I'm really just winging it here just to see how things go, so I don't claim to be an expert by any means, but it seems to be that there isn't room to get that pump out beneath the subframe, and of course all the front arms are there. So it does, like I say, looks like a radiator out job. It's not the end of the world doing that, but just an inconvenience, but that seems to be the way forward. that's the front end removal, well underway as you can see. Radiator just about to come out. You'll see I have the brackets removed there and there. Next stage will be top and bottom hoses and any wiring connections that might be going towards the fans, and then that will hopefully give me enough room to get into the aircon pump. Okay, as you'll see I have the radiator out and obviously the fan assembly to go with. You can see the aircon pump down in there, and the shadow out of the way. 4 bolts hold this on, so my aim will be to get these 4 bolts out. They seem to be pretty tight. I've started that first one just there. They're at each corner. Hopefully I can get to these easy enough, and hopefully they don't come out without any big problems, but we'll see. And then hopefully it should be able to come out this way. I'm glad I've done this because it does seem to be a good size, so I don't think it was going to go out past the chassis leg there, but we'll find out and I'll let you know. We'll go from there. Cheers! Okay, that's the aircon pump out, as you can see. Hopefully the 4 holes there give you an idea where the bolts are. And these are the bolts of the studs there that hold it all in place. Some of these were quite tricky to get off or get started. From memory, this one, because you've got the front of the subframe in the way, was quite difficult to get out, but sitting with a bit of patience, a load of plus gas on the studs and working at them with a 12mm spanner sort of helped get things moving and shifting that way. But either way, it's out. There's a bit of weight in this. I will of course get the scales out the way everything I've removed here. I would say that's the majority of the weight so far is going to be in that single pump, as I thought. But it's out. I'm halfway through putting everything back together, as you can see here. I don't know how the wiring's going to work there with the aircon pump and the fans there, but either way, you see down in there I've left the fans connected, so hopefully the aircon fan still works. Obviously the fan temp sensor down at the bottom is plugged in, and the main engine cooling fan is plugged in, and the 2 radiator hoses are plugged in, and the plug for the bottom of the radiator, the drain plug, is plugged in. Really I have to fill up the overflow or the header tank, connect that wee hose there, fill everything up, and when I have the car all put back together I will of course burp the system. Yeah, I'll keep moving on. Okay folks, that is the aircon all removed. Went out for a quick test drive and everything seems to be running a-okay. Have to say I haven't noticed a massive difference in how the car performs, be it weight or driving the belt or anything like that there, but certainly seems to be running well. Car's not overheating after bleeding out the system, so all seems good. I'll only really probably notice the difference, if anything, out on track, but car's working, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, certainly worth doing if you're stuck or you need to fix anything. Hopefully that guide maybe gives you an idea what all is involved with removing the aircon. And I'm glad to say both fans kick on. The aircon fan, I've left it plugged in, so it's still connected, so when the car does get warm both fans kick in. So I decided to leave that fan on. Thought the extra fan for an extra bit of cooling should help. Obviously removing it might save a wee bit of weight that way, but I've left it in, as I said. So yeah, all seems to be working. Any queries or comments or anything like that, feel free to ask, and naturally please like, share and subscribe as well.